The quietness in the room was abruptly interrupted by the mechanical movement of gears in dire need of lubrication from the projector mounted on a rusty and squeaking stand on the back wall. The images projected on the white canvas did not help much in lightening up the dark room, as all one could see were the recordings of a security camera framing a long, lightless corridor. Many eyes were staring at the silent show as the only thing moving was the clock on the bottom of the projection. About 30 seconds after the start of the video, faint voices joined the background noises. The piercing and terrified cries that once echoed through the facility now rang fiercer, stronger, and louder in the briefing room. As the screams were getting closer to the camera, one could see, for a split second, a couple of silhouettes running frantically in the upper corner. Pure white coats waving in the non-existent wind were in stark contrast to the dark color palette of the scene. Just as the two unnamed scientists ran further than the recording device could follow, a dark mass entered the screen. The video was interrupted by a loud clanking noise as the commander struggled to press the rusty button of the projector. As the officer slowly walked the small podium up front, dim lights turned on as low chatters and murmurs saturated the air. "This, ladies and gentlemen, is what we are against," said the old fox as his men liked to address him, pointing with a wooden stick at the nearly indistinguishable blob of pixels. "I will be blunt with you. It might end badly for us," continued the gray-haired officer while inhaling from the smoking white stick, the third of the hour. "I'm sure you all read the briefings, but I'll sum it up for those who just woke up. The situation is pretty bad." At a wave of his hand, the assistant carefully removed the film from the still-spinning cogs of the projector and inserted a slide into the machine. Many squinted their eyes as a bright wall of text replaced the dark scene of nightmares. After waiting for everyone to settle down and adjust their irises, the captain thrusted his trusty stick into the fabric square hanging from the ceiling. "Our lab rats did it again. They pulled out yet another monster from the depths of hell. But this time it's far worse. It all started 3 months ago. Subject H666A was extracted successfully from the rift in a dormant state. With a second gesture, the captain signaled his adjutant to show the following image. Many had a nervous and unexplainable shiver as the uncensured body of that creature came into full view. This is our problem. A problem is so big that it can easily be an existential threat, and I'm being serious about it. Acting on past experiences, our scientists placed the subject into a maximum security cell, as they always do, until an appropriate appraisal and classification can be assigned. As the officer stopped speaking, a new video recording briefly blinded the unprepared eyes staring at the void. A white and bright room took the scene where the creature was standing still in the middle. Subject H6 acted very tamely once it woke up. It displayed curiousness and interest in its surroundings, but did not act in any way that could be categorized as violent by the standards observed in other subjects. While we confirmed the presence of vocal organs inside its body, we have seldomly recorded any sounds or calls. While the old fox continued explaining the rough physiology of the creature, documents and research files were being handed down to the audience. After a quick look at them, a young officer turned to her side to ask her more senior colleague. "Old man, what do you think?" As he was still staring at the papers in his wrinkly hands, the old veteran let out a gray puff of smoke while carefully studying the object of their next hunt. "I don't like this. I don't like any of this," spoke softly, still not distorting his gaze from the documents. It was not a good sign. Having known him for a long time, way before the man started wearing the badge, the younger officer stood in silent contempt, afraid to speak her mind. The veteran of dozens of battles and survivor of hundreds of expeditions never expressed any concern or worry about any mission. "General observation about the subject," the captain continued while lighting up another white stick. "The subject is highly dangerous and capable. H6 is around the height of—" The commander paused and turned around to face the photo of the monster they had the unfortunate task of taking down. After silently staring at it for long seconds, he looked again at the police officers seated before him in the smoky darkness. "You know what? Fuck that. I'm not reading all the useless shit you can look up yourself. I will go straight to the important part." Another video recording started playing. The creature was calm and silent, surrounded by white lab coats and security staff as they were performing tests and measurements. The subject has been under observation for a little over 2 months. During the initial behavior and fitness assessments, H6 was highly collaborative and quiet. It let us do almost everything we needed to, only showing resistance during the most painful and most invasive procedures. Its pain resistance is remarkably high, and its body density shocked our scientists with more questions than answers. Unfortunately, we could not properly survey all its biological features due to recent events. For the sake of brevity, I will only tell you what you need to know. Our prey is extremely intelligent. And I'm not saying this just because you are all idiots, said the captain jokingly, lightening up the mood just enough to catch a breather. In all seriousness, its brain-to-size ratio is 30% higher than ours. It has a nervous system many times more complex, and we suspect that the computational power is at least 3 times greater. Do you know what that means? As no one dared to utter a word, a bit disappointed, the captain let out a disgruntled scowl and continued speaking. This beast behaves completely differently from us. When in a stressful situation, while we think and then act, it does not need to stop to contemplate the next actions. Sensing and hearing the uproar that such information caused, the commander took a couple of minutes to come up with an appropriate example. Complex actions that would take us at least 30 seconds, such as loading an empty rifle, have been executed in less than 5 by the subject. Hearing this, the old man raised his head and abruptly interrupted his superior. You mean it learned how to operate a rifle? Mind your tone, Corporal. But yes, it did. And most impressively, we have confirmation that before yesterday, it had never touched or seen how to load one. Quite concerned at the new stream of information, the old man focused his eyelids and extended his ears. That's not all. The subject possesses impressively precise coordination of its body parts, especially its upper limbs. It can perform almost impossibly complex motions simply by willing its body and mind to. Its ability to control almost every muscle and fiber of its body, combined with its frightening accurate hand-to-eye coordination, gives it a precision of movements comparable only to that of machines. Our scientists have also discovered that this being has stamina over 10 times that of what our physiology allows us, while having a sprinting speed slightly faster than ours. To add salt to the wound, it is also significantly stronger and agile than our average, and there is evidence that he can adapt his senses, such as sight, smell, and hearing, based on the situation and his surroundings. What about his defense mechanisms? The corporal asked, more focused than ever. The creature can boast an advanced pattern recognition, and evidence has shown that it has familiarity with all the traps and hunting strategies we have tried employing. Unsuccessfully, I might add. Now, going back to recent events, the creature that has been quiet and obedient up until now has managed to breach containment and is now causing mass havoc inside the facility. We have confirmation of numerous casualties between the research staff and the on-site security forces. The numbers are still unknown, but we can confidently say that triple digits have been reached. Team Epsilon has been dispatched, but until they get here, the job is ours. Eliminate the bastard or gather as much information as possible while trying. The facility has been under quarantine since losing connection with the control room 4 hours ago. What can we expect going in, sir? Worriedly asked the rookie while shivering, almost swallowed up by an uncontrollable and irrational fear after looking at an image from the reports she was holding in her trembling hands. Everything. Expect everything and anything. Video feed from the security systems is offline, as all external electrical sources got cut off to limit any potential advantages the creature can cause. After saying this, the captain walked to the door and flicked a switch. Following a low humming, the lights hanging from the ceiling started flickering before illuminating the room as if it were day. As the officers rubbed their tired eyes, the captain whispered something into the ears of the old man, while giving him a folder none of the others even knew existed. This is all for now, get ready. We are moving out at 4 o'clock hours. As the police officers started making their way to the armory, the corporal and the rookie stood there for a couple more minutes. You seem worried, old man. I am. I've never seen you like this. Is this creature so dangerous that even you are afraid of it? Without saying a word, the experienced officer handed the folder to the inexperienced one, ordering her to look at it carefully simply by looking at her in the eyes. After giving her a moment to soak in all the relevant information, he spoke again in a low tone as if to not be heard in the empty room. The scientists have made a grave mistake. I will talk with the captain before the mission. Maybe the guys coming after us might have a better chance of coming out in one piece. Understanding the implications behind his words, all the young officer could do was stare at the blank wall in front of her. As the silence was getting too loud, The old man took a big breath before lighting up a thick brown stick between his lips. They labeled and treated it as prey. What a joke. This simple sentence was followed by another moment of seemingly endless silence. The rookie kept staring wide-eyed at the old man on her side, waiting for words to come out of his tired mouth. I've hunted many animals and monsters in my life. You don't need to be a biologist to understand certain things. After hundreds of times, you start to see the patterns. That thing! Its eyes are pointed forward. Its nose is pointed forward. Its ears are pointed forward. Its whole body made to be pointing forward. Well, that's good then. It means it has more difficulty sensing what's around him. No, that's way, way worse! What kind of prey does not concern itself with its surroundings? What kind of prey cares only about what is in front of it? Only a predator does. Yes. Only something that searches. Only something that chases. Only something that hunts would have such distinctive traits. Looking straight in its eyes, you can see the killing machine that nature has engineered. And they even say it's very clever. That's the worst part. The scientists have mistakenly assumed that it's a solitary creature since it barely let out a sound. But it's obvious that during the experiments, it wasn't simply letting them do it out of fear or curiosity. We were the ones that were under observation. It was studying our movements, our interactions, and our way of communicating, gauging our strengths and weaknesses. For months, we moved it left and right around the facility, for tests and whatnot. It must have been observing, memorizing the structure and layouts. And he can even predict our traps. Predict? No. Have you seen the video recordings? That thing is too smart for that. I'm sure of it. It knows those traps. It is familiar with our hunting strategies because it is a hunter itself. Genes passed down from generation to generation have wired their brain to recognize our amateurish attempts to capture them. And by God, the most outrageous statement is that it's supposed to be a lonely creature. How can you tell it is not? We barely interacted with it. Look at pages 6, 8, and 15. Look at all the facial muscles. Look at the extreme range of motion of its arms, hands, and fingers. And look the complexity of its upper respiratory system. That thing is a social beast. That thing can assume a wider range of facial expressions than any creature in this world can even imagine. Use its hands to shape objects and words, and probably produce sounds of such wide variety that it would shame the most complex of our dialects. If that thing knew how to handle a rifle it had never seen or touched, do you think it can figure out how to open the rift? It's much more intelligent and dangerous than the white coats thought. It can certainly read our simple emotions, understand our brutish writings, and interpret our primitive language. No, that motherfucker can speak, and our only hope is that it won't phone home.